Hello, everybody. This is Erin LaFave, and this is the mini live show that I do every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So welcome today. I have a guest speaker, which I'll introduce in just a couple seconds. I'm just going to wait for a couple of you to get on here. Let me know if you're here and pop in the chat where you're coming from and say hello to us so that we know you're here. It's definitely feeling like spring here, so that's really fun. It feels really good. Hey, Joan. We're going to start here in a couple seconds. We were a little bit late, so if you're feeling like you couldn't find us, it wasn't you, it was us. And so we're going to be starting here soon. Oh, hi, Karen and Conita. Nice to see you all. Yeah, definitely let me know if you're here. Hey, Pepper and Amanda. Yeah, you made it. Yeah, we were chatting too much, so we're a little bit late, but that's okay. We've got plenty of time. Yes. Oh, beautiful day in the mountains. Yes, it's pretty nice here as well. So today I have a guest, and this is Fays Johnstone, and she's going to be telling us about her experience with plant spirit medicine and how she connects with plants and how she does all that kind of work and connection and some of her background. And Faye has a book or two out, I can't remember, but she'll tell us what's happening with her books and with her lessons. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, everybody. Hey, Heather. Got lots of people jumping on today. So Faye is here with us. Faye, whereabouts are you in the world?
Hi, everybody. I am in Scotland, so I'm in what's called the Kingdom of Fife, and it's kind of, I don't know how I got drawn here, but Fife is one of the places in Scotland which is really known for the burning of the witches and the persecution of the witches. So I'm in a very kind of potent magical place, as if Scotland isn't magical enough. Yeah, I'm in this part, so it's really a wonderful place to be, connecting with the ancestors, and just it's really beautiful. So I'm really blessed. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. My husband's name is Scott, and I'm Erin, which I've heard is kind of the original name for Ireland. And so I'm like, yeah, we're the two big countries here or something in the house. And I did do the binge over the winter of Outlander. I didn't know of the books or anything. So now my whole interest of Scotland is piqued. And of course, I have ancestry that reaches back to Ava, who is some sort of, skeletal remains that they found in DNA analysis on. And anyways, so there's all these.
Wow, really that's amazing. Actually, yeah, I must say their Outlander it's brilliant for Scotland's tourism, and also because there are kind of herbal tours around Scotland and herbal, there's just a lot of, and it's great. And actually the herb garden that is filmed, a lot of the filming took place around here. And yeah, the herbal garden that Claire uses, I don't know which one it is, maybe series 1 at the castle is just down the road, actually. So yeah, that's kind of fun, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Maybe I should go off in a new direction and just do Outlander herbal plant adventures through the stones and everything. That would be fun.
Oh, that's funny. They have that other show too, Men in Kilts, and they're doing the tour of Scotland with the 2 actors. And so they just showed one of the herb gardens and the herbalist that was used that helped them do all the things for Outlander. So that is totally fun. Yeah, totally just binged on all the herbal things that Claire was talking about and all that stuff.
I love where this conversation is going already. This is great.
Never know what's going to happen here. But why don't you just introduce yourself, do the nutshell version of like what you do and what your background is, and let people know who you are.
So I call myself a shamanic herbalist, and that's because I've really, despite having, herbal training, and I've just, my shamanic practice, which has been over the last 10 years really developing, has just led me really to connect with the spirit of plants. So I don't necessarily make that many kind of lotions and potions and the herbal medicine side of things. I've really leaned into kind of this spirit work and energetics, because I've been a Reiki practitioner for over 20 years as well. So in a sense, my work with Reiki kind of led me to the plants, which also led me to my shamanic practice. And so then I sort of dove in that way. And through my kind of awakening, my partner and I moved to Nova Scotia. So this is over 11 years ago. We moved to Nova Scotia and we ran a flower and herb farm for 5 years. And that was that kind of deep dive, that kind of real awakening, because we all know, we're all plant people here. We know that when we spend time with plants, that's when the magic starts to happen. We know that we can read books, we can read gardening magazines, we can get into permaculture, we can kind of theorize about plants and learn about other people's experiences. But it's not until we kind of, hang out with a tree or make friends with a flower or make our first herbal remedy that we start to kind of, that green thread starts to move through us and awakens those parts of us, and it's just such a huge transformation. And so that, in a sense, that's what happened to me while I lived in Canada and ran this flower farm, and that led to my first book, actually, which I'm gonna show you. I've got it here, and some of you might recognize the cover. It's going to be a bit backwards, isn't it? Can you even see that? I can't work out where my camera is today. Plants that speak, souls that sing. Can you see that?
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, we saw most of it. Plants that speak, souls that sing.
Yep, there we go. There we go. That was my first book, and that's really about, that it's just really a guide as to how we connect with plants, and we do that through so many different ways. I think that's what I love about plants, is that they are this really holistic modality for us to connect with. So many people come to me because they want to work with plants and Reiki, or they want to work with, plant spirit shamanism and connecting with the spirit of the plants. But what's wonderful is that because plants are this, they're so beautiful and they fill our landscape, and they actually exist on this reality. They are the most amazing allies for us, because they're not like a spirit guide who we can only kind of connect with in a dream or in a shamanic journey, for example. They're actually an ally that we can embrace and we can meet into this reality. And when we're in this reality, it just really helps us integrate that medicine. And then obviously we've got the medicinal plants. So, we can kind of infuse with the spirit of the plants in so many different ways. So through the spirit, through that sort of meditative connection, through that otherworldly journey of the dream state, but also in that sort of just walking in nature and being with and seeing what your favorite tree is, and feeling in your heart those plants that bring us joy. So that's kind of why I'm just so delighted by the plants. And that's why I think, actually, in a sense, they are a very easy way for us to feel medicine and kind of come into that alignment with who we are, because we can kind of lean towards whatever way they speak to us. And if they speak to us through herbal medicines, or if they speak to us through flower essences, or they might speak to us through botanical drawing and poetry and song, there's all these different ways that they delight us, or gardening, so flower arranging, it's just beautiful. And so this is why, in a sense, their medicine can be such a simple way for us to really, it's all about transformation, isn't it? Connecting with that magic that is us. Yeah,
definitely. I say that being with plants is medicine in itself. We're always so used to having to do something with them, but I encourage people to just sit next to them and be still and to listen. And I really like the way you talk about connecting in that, because it's kind of like a nebulous type of thing. It's not something that you just give 5 to-dos and then you're connecting with plants. There's just, it takes words and time and actions, and it takes a while to kind of express that. So I love the way that you describe it. And your book, it takes a book sometimes to describe that whole interaction and process.
I think what's happening a little bit for us all is we want the 5-step process, don't we? Of, well, I do this, I sit with the plant, I connect with my heart, I then start to breathe, and then bing. And sometimes there isn't a bing, and the reason is we've put this expectation on it. We've only, and I say this, I think this is one of the biggest obstacles for people. Maybe I'll lean into the sort of what blocks people a lot of the time. So what I see is firstly this so we all have this good intention, we want to connect with the plants, but I think because we're so busy and we're very overwhelmed with social media, and I hate to say it, but I'm in this camp too, I'm super distracted half of the time. I'm not always fully grounded and present in my body and present to what I'm feeling and what's going on. And if we suddenly kind of go, oh, right, I want to do this exercise, I want to go and connect with the tree, and you kind of look at your watch, you're right, quick, I've got like 25 minutes to get there, get back, zone in, get some information, come back, whoa, plant time isn't that kind of, it doesn't work in that way. And so it doesn't sort of work on that demand that we've kind of, that we click our fingers and boom, we've got the answer to what we're looking for. So that can be one of the biggest blocks to people, and having this expectation of what it's going to be like, this plant connection, because it's different for everybody. And I mean, this is why it's so helpful that they are a very versatile modality for us to work with, because some people will be inspired through sound. They'll want to make a sound when they're with the plant. Some people want to make herbal medicines and all of that. There's all this diverse way, but I think sometimes as well we compare our experience to others so much, don't we? And especially with having visions or receiving downloads, and that's completely different for everybody. And I know sometimes for me, I'll just know that a plant is sort of connecting with me because I'll have my ears pop and I'll be like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And I'll have to ask myself, have I got time for this? Does this feel like I've got time for this, or do I need to come back to this? Like we're always feeling our way with everything. But also, I think one of the things which blocks people when we're making these lovely connections is that we don't trust that first impression that we get. We think we're doing it wrong. We think we're making something up that's not there. We think it's all in our imagination. We think we can't be right, so that can trip us up a lot of the time when we're just second guessing ourselves, or we're not really going with what we feel. We the head kind, we love to think about things, and the head comes in and goes, oh no, that can't be right, because I wasn't really looking for that, and that's only a dandelion, that's not any good for what I'm looking for, and things like this. So what we think we know gets in the way, doesn't it, of what we're really feeling and open to experiencing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like every little sentence you just said there, we could expand that into something else, because, yeah, there's so many things that are happening inside of our mental chatter, and we have learned and been taught to not trust that intuition part of it. And that's kind of something that I think plants can teach us, is to come back to that and just listen. And Joan here says, to connect with plants, I have to listen with my whole self. Then I feel the message they have to say. And I feel like that's what you were touching on just now too, is that sometimes we hear things or sense things or feel the need to draw or look at drawings, and it kind of all comes out in different ways. And it doesn't always stay the same either. It can change with us from day to day, and we're so used to having like, hey, it worked that way one time, I'll just rinse and repeat, and I'll do the same thing over and over. So
it's so true. And and even though I walk this path and you walk this path, I'm still really guilty of that. I want it to be easy, actually. But we also know that when it's sort of deep healing, it's not easy. It's going through some hoops, But I love that idea, of being with your whole body, sort of sensing. It's a full-on experience, really, when we connect with plants. And it's never just something that you see or something that you hear or something that you sense. It's just I know often for me, I'll burst into tears and then I'm like, okay, something's going on. I think I just sit here. And that's one of the things I like to teach is to whatever you think is happening, or, in some cases, no, not happening, just to stay with that feeling, because leaning into the feeling and just being with sort of whatever's going on, even though the brain wants to go, oh yeah, nothing, I'm not getting anything here, just leaning into that feeling and being with it, whatever that is, whether it's a sensation or a sound or a thought feeling, is kind of where I kind of invite people to lean into that, because what we're very quick to do, particularly as adults, is we're very quick to kind of go, oh, I wonder what this means. We get our journal out and we're writing down, and it's almost like leave that analysis part, the part that wants to know what it means, for later, and just for now, be with the plant, be present. And that's, that is the practice, isn't it? The practice of presencing and being with this moment. And that's why, meditation and practices like yoga, qigong, being really in the body and present to the moment, present to the breath, just help us, with plant connections, with kind of everything, I guess.
Yeah, and Stefan Harold Boyner wrote many books, but I'm trying to think of the title, the Secret Language of Plants, the Lost, like he's got two of them, but either way, in most of them, he says that initial connection that you have with the plant, whenever you're trying to really build that communication and connection, always go back to the initial feeling and try to go further into that initial feeling that you had, because that brings you back to the feeling rather than, oh, what's the symbol? What does it mean? But once you, like you said, lean into that feeling, it's just like you deepen further and further into it, and having the feelings, the emotions, the sensations, that's really, really important to connect with that before we start to be like, okay, what does this mean analytically?
And actually, yeah, I mean, that's the sort of the teaching. Certainly one of the teachings I always work with is, you're not in this headspace. You need to move the awareness into the heart space, because that is where the language of plants is through that heart space. It's through that vibration, that field that you are creating, from, this kind of heart coherence. I was going to speak to what you just said, and I've kind of gone off on a tangent. Oh well, it'll come if it's meant to come back. It'll come back. Yeah, but so sort of gone. It's gone away. They've taken it away. Those little plants.
That's all right. That's all right. So you're talking about how you teach people. So what kinds of ways can people connect? You have your book, and you're writing another one, or you've finished the second one?
No, I have two. So the second one, which I have here, and I didn't do very good. Oh, there you go. I managed to show it to the camera this time, sort of. The second one is called Plant Spirit Reiki. And that's actually, in a sense, me feeling into my bit more of my authentic connection with plants, because I feel that having been a Reiki practitioner for over 20 years, I was kind of realizing that actually when I was with the plants, the Reiki, that kind of connection was coming through me. And so that book speaks specifically for people who are energy healers and work with Reiki, and so yeah, Plant Spirit Reiki is where, in a sense, I feel my work is leading. And so I have trainings for people to train Reiki practitioners, really, to train in working with plants, in bringing plants into the Reiki practice. So that's kind of where my work has drawn me. And we're guided by the plants with this. It's, I don't think I've ever sat out and thought when I was at school, I'm going to write a book about connecting with plants and talking to plants. I mean, that was not on my agenda. So all of this is sort of like, it just, like in your work, the plants speak through us. So yeah, so Plant Spirit Reiki is where it's all heading for me, and that's where my trainings are. And there are some, I do a very short kind of online course on plant spirit shamanism as well, to give people that kind of grounding in what's that and how can I work with the plant shamanically. So yeah, that's my work in a nutshell at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, we do have, in fact, a lot of people in the Plant Priestess Exploration, the free Facebook group, there's so many people here who come in who mention they are trained in Reiki at some level and they do Reiki, and there's shamanic, like those two words come up, I don't know, 80% of the time as people are coming in. So I know that you're in good company here. And in the Plant Priestess Circle, Faye is going to be doing a lesson for us coming up this year too. So we'll be seeing more of her. I know Plant Priestess Circle members are in here right now listening. So how can people get connected with you if they're looking to find you on the internet? And I know they can find your book in a wide variety of places, but how do they connect with you?
Sure. So my website is fayjohnston.com. So that's just my name. Also, there's on my YouTube channel, which again is Faye Johnston, that has a load of videos really on plant connections, some shamanic journeys, meeting plant allies, things like that, things that which will kind of help you on your journey. And yeah, I'm on Instagram at my Instagram handle is Plants That Speak. So that's an easy one. Yeah, I think that's me pretty much.
That's great. All right. I'm just checking. I don't think we have any questions. Somebody just said, how do we connect with you? But I got that one out for everybody. And I will post some links into the Facebook group and send out some emails maybe this week or next. So
yeah, on my website, if you go to fayjohnston.com, you can get some free samples of like the first chapters of my books. If you think, oh yeah, I want to just feel into that, see what that's like. But like I said, yeah, the YouTube channel has kind of got the more instructional kind of videos, how-to things, and yeah, nice pictures of my garden as well.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate the time that you took to meet with us. I know it's a little bit of a different time right now for you. You're getting into closer, maybe evening than we are here. So I appreciate your time and coming to share with us. And everybody go check out Faye's chapter. Like she said, it's a free chapter for you to go check out. And people are saying thank you. Hello. Sandy said she's a shamanic minister and a shamanic breathwork facilitator.
Lovely.
So you're definitely in good company here. Any last words before we say farewell for the day?
Well, just really time outside in nature every day, just making that connection every day, making it, that is the thing that keeps me feeling supported and like aligned, basically. Yeah, so that's what I do when I'm feeling wobbly, is just call it in. Even if you're in the middle of the city, you can call it in. Like you were saying about that first thought or the feeling that you had when you were with a plant, just call in that wonderful feeling that you once had. Even if it was 5 years ago on holiday in an amazing pine wood somewhere, call it in. And then, and then it just weaves its way into your heart. So you feel good.
Absolutely. Those are all great tips. All right. Well, you have a good day, Faye. I'll connect with you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.